Yes, the 2025 National Basketball League season tipped off on Friday with blockbuster fixtures, and of course the games continued on Saturday and Sunday at YMCA and Logogo in that order. And there is so much to be excited about. The league for the first time is under a new committee comprising of the league managers, and there is a new sponsor. That means there is more money now into the game. And if you are a Blazers or Jet Lady Jaguars fan, you have a lot to be excited about because, man, you beat the Holders, City Oilers and JK Lady Dolphins. There are a lot of things to talk about after that opening weekend, both on and off the court. And that is going to make up our show here at the Inbound. The show is called The Inbound and running on Sports Nation. We are back to come here, and this time we are going to stay.
After a long time.
Yes, after a long time, yes. And of course, my name is Brian Kawalia, and I'm joined by Taito Nkuechi, basketball enthusiast.
Yes, big fan of the game.
Yes, and a sports journalist, Franklin Kaweru, is an editor, chief editor, I think I should add that, for Kawawa Sports. Franklin, welcome back on the show. When was the last time we had the conversation here?
Must have been last year, I think.
Yes, and that is last season.
Last season.
And I was trying to convince you that KCCA Leopards will be competing for the title.
And I was telling you otherwise.
Abana abasijja basonyiwa.
Abana bayiteba.
KCCA Leopards ate sibagalira ku ddala.
Ate lwaki tobawagira? Balina Tracy, they have Tracy, they have Perus. Of course, they are going to be exciting running in lanes, but I'm half caught out.
By the way, did you see Vink on Friday? I was just going through the tweets, and I think I was checking through
I was shocked as everyone who was not sitting next to her.
Seriously?
I did not see her walking, and I'm sure I was one of the first people into the arena. So she came in low-key.
And that's why I love Blazers. Not supporting them, but I love them because they have given us, or they have attracted some new faces in terms of fans. They have recruited a couple of fans into the game, and I just wish them all the best, by the way.
In terms, you wish the players, I mean the team, the best, or the fans?
Generally the team. Not just success on court, but...
Do you want them to win?
That will be another discussion.
Answer the question, yes or no. Do you want the status quo? Do you want them to win?
But Franklin, let's just get this underway. And I think we should start with the fact that the league has a new committee. I think it was mid-January when the executive committee for FUBA and the executive members for FUBA and the league managers held that meeting at Uganda Olympic Committee. And in some of the resolutions, they decided that the league should be managed by a different entity. And they handed that to the managers who went ahead to compose that committee. They elected Freedom Owola as the chairman. Freedom is I think is the owner of JK. JK Lady Dolphins, because the last time I knew he had sold off the other part of the franchise, the JK Dolphins men. And of course a couple of other members, including Edwin,
the insurance guy.
Yeah, the insurance guy, Pau Kamoga. There is and a couple of other names. I think I'll be checking them out and read them for the for our viewers. And they'll be managing the match day logistics. Or they are managing the match day logistics. That is including hiring the venue, paying the match officials, and of course, and a little bit of everything, because the technical bit of the league will be managed. Will still be handled by the federation.
As it is across the world.
Yes. Maybe to break that down, what does that mean, and how did we reach here?
I mean, to start with, the conversation about league managers taking over the league started some years back when there was noise of misappropriation of funds, especially the registration funds. You know, league managers used to complain quite often that, especially the part where referees would threaten strikes here and there because of non-payment.
Like they did in lower division.
Like they did, yes, like they did in lower division. And league managers at the time were convinced that they can run their own league better. Conversations started. A temporary committee came up last season, and that is for the National Basketball League. And what that committee said is that they wanted to learn from within on how FUBA does their day-to-day running of the league and that kind of stuff. And it was more like a pilot kind of plan, like learn, you're not far from it, then take over completely. And obviously the first committee that was, I want to say elected or appointed or whatever, was shaking and did not get off the ground until that meeting you talked about, to bring some sort of harmony into it. For me, am I okay with the change? Obviously, it is always important. Abantu baagala, and then they feel the weight of it, or at least whether it is light or easy to do, they feel it, and then I think it is at that point that important decisions for the sport, particularly the league, will be made. I'm most likely, not likely, but I'm always worried about any other game days that are not Fridays. How logistics are going to be handled, especially Wednesdays when you have 3 or 2 venues, depending, you know. And you have referees going to Naria, at Abuja, referees here to Lugogo.
Yes, like starting this Wednesday, because now that's one of the changes I think that the new committee has put in place. I don't know if they first agreed that with, or they first discussed that with the federation, I don't know. But now going forward, starting on Wednesdays, games will be going on concurrently at 3 venues.
Yes.
Like this Friday, I think there is UCU here at
Wednesday here.
On Wednesday at Lugogo. Then there is Kampala Rockets?
JKL at
YMCA. Then Dam Blazers at Abuja Parks.
At Abuja Park, yes.
Your opinion on that change? Because me as a fan, I don't want that because I'm going to miss out on a couple of games. That's for sure.
To start with, I think the season has to be congested. They started late in terms of organizing themselves behind the scenes to be able to get the league underway. So they lost almost a month of action because usually the league starts around late Feb, okay, or mid Feb. So they lost nearly a month of playing time. Those are nearly what, almost 4 match weeks, and I think in squeezing this was the only option that they had in order to get the league done before October, end of October, for BAL and all that. And I think what is going to happen throughout this season is going to inform the decisions for the coming seasons. I think this season is more like a pilot season for the committee to see what works.
By the way, how long is their contract?
Contract yachi.
Contract yezo committees.
No, not exactly. I think you will see. Everybody will see if the committee is failing or it is prospering. Okay. No.
On Friday, Bateka counter Freedom, the chairman, was the one handling cash.
Again, I think that shouldn't be
my friend Freedom.
That shouldn't be an issue to start. Of course, it is not going to be perfect. You cannot start perfectly. Of course, those are all lessons. Obviously, when they go back and review what happened over the weekend, obviously some decisions will be made whether that procedure should be maintained or they should outsource people who are going to be doing the whatever, gate collections and all that. But you won't think that the chairman is not always going to be at the gate.
He won't be the one manning the gates all the time.
Yeah, so that was just the start, and I want to believe that things are going to change.
Oh, it's a lack of trust for the people he's working with. But that man is an accountant. Maybe he wants to account for each and every coin. But yes, but Franklin,
lack of trust.
Frederick Sowora is the chairperson. Mr. Samuel David Lukaid is the general secretary. I think is the
UCU.
Yes. Gordon Gumisiriza, finance and accounts. Gordon is for us, right?
Yes.
And then Kamoga Ahmed for sponsorship and marketing. That is the for Livingstone. Then Stephen Nyeko, or the one we normally call Escodata for technical and operations, is the coach of Blazers.
Yes.
How will we be serving those masters? And then, like we told you, Edin Beino Mugisha is his title is not here stipulated.
Oba ye representative wa FUBA.
Yes, naye kati kuchine ekintu kya Wednesday Franklin. Kati njagala kulaba ku fixture ya Wednesday going forward.
No, the thing that is going to happen for sure is
they have given. I think they have given the fans the options, but on the other side, the way I see it is that I don't want to miss any single minute of National Basketball League game. But now I've got to look at the fixture and choose.
Do you watch Friends? Do you watch Friends or do you watch the weight of the game?
Sometimes, like for example, these Wednesday games, they are not that entertaining. And we just have maybe to first stay in town to beat off jam.
I think you underrating the Wednesday games. It's
not underrating. I'm speaking for many people out there.
It is usually those mid-tail teams that are entertaining for sure. Look, after the Friday show, you would think that Saturday and Sunday wouldn't have some interesting games. But going at least by the scores, there was really some good games. Low scoring, but really exciting.
Now, for example, this coming Wednesday, UPDF Leto Max against Nkumba at Abja Parks and Namong Blazers against Victoria Parks. Obviously, for any Namong Blazers fan, all roads will be leading to Abja Parks. But for a neutral, we'll say, Abja anga wala.
What do you mean, wala? What are the fellows who live around Namugongo and Tinda?
Kati nze nja kunoonya abakyali bange gye banaabeera. Livingstone Jekyll is at YMCA. YMCA get fans. But there is Jet Lady Jaguars Angels the first game. Then at Lugogo, they love KC Leopards against Miracle Ravens. Then you see Cannons against Kampala Rockets. Kampala Rockets have lost their opening game, so I'll have to come and watch what you see we have in store on Friday. But I'll talk about the new sponsor. We've not seen the branding, but across those 3 days of the opening weekend, but I think the deal is already agreed. There is an agreement because FUBA confirmed across their platforms.
Yes.
But we didn't see a press conference.
For official unveiling.
Yes, but first things first, the players will be getting locker room bonus of 130,000 shillings, Ugandan shillings each. I don't think that I've ever seen any better deal across all Uganda sports disciplines that are directly benefiting the players for each win and for each game. Players and I think 4 other officials on the team. Yeah. How big is that?
Very, very important for players. In a league where players do not have a lot of money coming from the clubs in terms of salaries and some sort of remuneration. And all you need to do is win a game and get money. I think one, it is going to raise the competitiveness because of Ochimani, where there is money. Stakes become very high. And I want to believe that teams are really going to fight hard to register those wins. And for us, from a fans' perspective, we want to believe that that is going to make the games very, very competitive because of the locker room bonus. Obviously, you're not going to see teams sitting back and getting blown out. For the whole group. Obviously, even the coaches are going to have a talking point. Leaving man on the table.
Yes, I think.
And from what
because after him team talk especially now for like the university teams, some of the players they don't even receive anything. Just the the scholarship, but yes, naite wali kasente kibakuwayo. Even these non-university
teams actually.
Babazanyi bagende banga ngati babasasula. Kanatika to winning bonus uyu boberanga gwenyini timu tava mu nsawo yu bazenyi bagamba send buli wini mitolo 13 kulwachi abazenyi teba I think bwezigwa bajja kusibiranga wa
unfortunately, I don't see a team that has a lot of money. But I think the team that has a lot of money, I think they will be able to compete. And I want to believe that the teams that are really going to fight hard to register those wins. And for us, from a fans' perspective, we want to believe that that is going to make the games very, very competitive because of the locker room bonus. Obviously, even the coaches are going to have a talking point. in quotes, a group of drunkards have again received I think they are split evenly.
Because
they went at the wrong time.
Yes, and I think they now regret. Yes, but the players have already spread out across the other teams.
Yes, but what I know is, I've been told from what I've gathered is that Betpower has started gathering players' numbers. Obviously, this bonus is going to players directly.
And the other hurdle is that Betpower have again, all the numbers you're giving us must be registered in the players' names. Kawero oba ina national ID nga toina number eri mu manyago. Tojafuna the message. Bine ebyokuwoza nti banne muteekwe MTN yatero bamani. Abana bajjaga bila mu dressing room ya maziga.
But of course that you cannot blame that on obviously the sponsor. Of course, terms and conditions have to apply on every kind of sponsorship.
And sponsor yagala chintu kibiri direct. Tayagala manager submitting names atoba bazanyi bagame percentage tunazifunye. Roster walifu bajeino over NBL committee jeina is the same roster. Like they are the same names and numbers that any sponsors are kufuna.
Exactly. And for me, actually the biggest thing for me from this partnership sponsorship is that abazanyi toja kufuna chewe kwa santi. If say you have 3 games a week, 2 games a week,
that's 300.
Twala bidi mukaga 260 in 2 weeks. So if you have 4 games in a month,
yes,
I think they have always
so, yes, but this in addition to that, of course, in addition to that sponsorship, the MVP at the end of the season received 4 million shillings, and that's 1 million short of what the league winners will be getting. Because last season, I don't think that the league winners walked away with any amount.
No. But again, look, by the time you move to a point of becoming an MVP, it means you have won so many games.
Yes, of course.
And as a club or as players, I don't think you would be concerned about the 5 million that you're going to share after accumulating the wins over time. And again, individual brilliance has to be obviously rewarded. People may be concerned about the disparity of just $1 million between the team's money and then the players' money. But look, excellence. I think excellence has to be rewarded, which is okay. And usually a team, they praise money. Players hardly get this money. Again, I'm just loving to tubanja amazi.
Tugule mujezi
mpya and all that. I think I'm not really concerned about that small disparity. Again, this is just the starting point. Obviously, with the discussions are going to be held. If the league managers are concerned about that, obviously discussions will be in mind. But from my understanding, this is a player-centered sponsorship.
Yes.
So,
and I think that is the way to go, because I remember even Betway, when they were around, for the teams that they sponsored, I was told, for example, like Express, Cops, they were paying the players' salaries directly from South Africa.
Yes. And
now for Betpower, I think as who cover the sport religiously. Even Nyonyozi is my good friend, but when we start speaking money,
you're not very friendly.
Yes, not very friendly. But even Nyonyozi, I'll be coming to your office very soon.
Betpower.
Yeah, I think. Nyonyozi, Bernard, Omanyi offices are
no.
Yes, but Franklin, before we talk about the Big Friday games, of course there are developments that happened before the league tipped off. We started with Nasa Serunjoji. What should I call it? Abdicating KIU.
Putting in action what has been long coming.
Yes, and team yaliye mumenya tenga KIU nga university yafuna mileage ate ng'ateteekamu kingi, and then from nowhere our saviour also quit. That was coming, and that came at the back because our saviour had a franchise. They had the women's and the men's teams. The men's team was already in the league, in the top flight, but then our saviour Banyabo, the ladies team,
qualified after just 2 seasons down.
Yes, they earned promotion, and when the team ceased operations, Angels replaced the women's team, and then Summit had to buy a place for what?
For the men.
For our saviour, and both two are now already in the league.
Yes. Let me start with the KL bit. So some time back, I think 2-3 seasons ago, that was the first time I got to know that.
Back when Mulimu
office.
Press conference yali yawo katikati.
Moderating a press conference doesn't mean we will have appointment later.
Tebajiwa gwate bajiwa.
Bikati ate bakola appointment ne batakola announcement.
No genda nga buli kawungezi gwe kubirako obeera kansango olu ku training okwata video okuweereza amalobozi. You did that.
I did not do that. Go allow you. So, but let me put it this way. When I got to know that actually KIU, the university doesn't put in as much as, of course you cannot put in as much as, of course, UCU that have a sound sports program or on DJ or, these all as Victoria University is starting. But when I got to learn of actually how much the university puts in, I was extremely disappointed.
How much?
I need a several. So when you get to a point where you're even writing a requisition for a car to transport players to the game venues and all that, and you have to go through very many hopes, I thought this was something that was always going to come. I think
it benefits the university.
Yes, it benefits the university more than anything else. All the media coverage has KIU campaign as from university. Whatever success that the team gets, it is basically brings in the university as well. And obviously it got to a point where NASA was
the club president.
Was at a point where
deep down into his pockets,
where I cannot really take him, because again I was hearing a conversation of the amount of money that you need to run an average club. I mean, if say as hypothetically speaking, if say you're paying each player maybe 700,000 or 800,000 a month, and you have a roster of 15 players to 18, that's a lot of money to be putting out in 1 month. You will need about 15 to 20 million each and every month to run the club. So for a season you might need up to 150 something million to run a club, and when that is coming out of your pocket, and pretty much the credit is going to the university, if I may put it that way, it becomes very, very challenging, and it gets to a point where you're like, it is not worth the investment really. I'm not getting anything out of it,
especially when the championships are not coming, because they lost two finals.
Even when the championships come, there's no return in winning the championship apart from pride.
Yes,
really.
Of course.
So
in sports, it's always pride first before.
What innocent way of winning makes money. So, but it was bound to happen, and that decision happened when Summit was created. You will know it was always coming, Pola. It was a matter of getting Summit into the league.
And one time we shall discuss how Summit was created, because I was following that drama from YMCA Hamsters.
Kawalia wali.
Nze nja kuleeta obuvuyo bwaliwo lumu obuvuyo nja kubuleeta. Yes, but by the way, I expected Summit to go out big in the transfer.
Yep.
Or but it's just because the acquisition came here.
Came late.
Came late.
And actually there was no intention from the start for Summit to acquire our saviour, if I may say that. Again, from the discussions that of course in this media space of ours, from some of the discussions that our saviour people had and the Federation fellows, it is that it was not until towards the end of the registration process for clearing clubs to play, our survey hadn't yet been sold. Okay, and that advert was put out last year, nearly 2-3 months.
But it was overpriced, and I was told nti wano banasa ekintu basooka ne bakifiisa ne bagamba oli ajja kukakkana yekka era bwe yakkakkana ne bagamba kirabika aligula around 8 million ne ngamba
I don't want to look at that as buying, because if you're buying a club, then you're buying one, you're either buying players' contracts,
the assets,
which,
and all the assets,
and all the other assets which assets are affiliated to our clubs. I don't know.
What they did was just buying a slot.
So there was nothing to buy apart from player contracts, and most of the players had moved at the time. Some of the players moved at the time, and if anything, it was about selling the players' contracts. Obviously, nobody is going to give you the money that you have invested over the years into the club, at least not here, because again, when you're buying assets, something that is valuable, tangible, that you're going to find. But we don't have that. Our clubs don't have that, and so when you're moving out, basically, because really, apart from the programs that you run for the sport, that are important, of course, for kids, and know that you always want to maintain that. But in terms of that was
yes, Franklin, we leave that at that. Maybe we shall have more of this during our subsequent shows. But for Summit, they made a winning debut in the league, beating up on Jekyll Dolphins. I thought that Jekyll
the team that they have to beat.
No, but Jekyll has some good players, established players. Unlike Summit. But Franklin, let's talk about the Friday games. We start with the ladies' fixture, Jetty against Jekyll. And for Jetty, they made some good acquisitions. That's Zida Navayung and
Shakira.
Yes, Shakira and Namvubi are both coming from UCU Lady Cannons.
The Uganda Academy.
Yes. But can we read something from that victory for Jetty Lady Jaguars?
I want to say yes. All the work that the other teams, all the teams put in to beat the defending champion, all the work, JKL. All the work JKL did last season was to beat UCU. Okay? And that is how the cycle is. All the work that all these other teams do is to beat the Oilers. So, one, how important was that game? Was the game important? Yes, it was absolutely. For Jetty Jaguars, whose work was towards beating the champions, of course, beating them on the opening day of the season gives you some sort of motivation,
yes,
that look, and confidence. And look, you're not far from it. Obviously, much as Jekyll Lady Dolphins were short-handed, they didn't have Brenda Ekon, but at least the core of the group was present. And for Jetty Jaguars, they will take that as a positive. Never mind Jenna Sinde being listed on team, that she can return in her off-season.
Not Jenna Sinde alone, but I saw the list still has Jamila Nanscombe and Stella Oyed. Freedom Wabula.
Let's talk about the players who are most likely to come, and that is Jenna Sinde, who can come and turn around the horse. In fact,
yes, like she
turned
did
around last
season.
Season.
Because she was going to be UCU was going to give them a strong run.
Yes, if she's not around, it would be different stories. So, but for Jetty Jaguars, they needed that game first of all to win, for all the work that they put in what they have been off-season for. Two good training months, I think, and that gives them some good confidence. And they did not play particularly badly or poorly, if I may say. They played quite well. Both teams played quite well, actually, offensively, obviously, and defensively. What you would see is that there is a lot of need for transition playing, They got out of basket on transition, but in the half-court sets, you thought both teams played quite well.
How are you confident with that Sudi Ulanga's squad, especially after adding those two, and of course the other Maseba Tamuliza, Sarah Geno, and of course these are other role players including Sandra Aikoro Wangeshi stepping up on that day, and the good defense from Rodan Ajita. Is this JT Jaguars the team that we think that can dethrone JK Lady Dolphins?
Can they dethrone? That can dethrone. I think they have the potential, but you cannot read into it right now. It is only one game of the season. But if you ask me,
just judging by
then, this is a team that I think is going to be in the final if they are in different paths. That is, obviously, if they are not meeting each other before the finals in different paths, they will both be in the finals. I believe. I think they are shoulders above the rest of the teams.
That is KIU,
KCCA. Of course, not forgetting that KIU listed the two girls as well, the Taro and Amanio. By the way, when playoffs come around, I think they will be off season. Okay, when playoffs come around, maybe who knows, they might be in Kampala and they can play. Who knows?
Is NASA staying at the ladies team, the KIU team?
Yes.
Anyway, Jekyll, are you somehow disappointed that they didn't make strong additions to that team outside Zaina Lokwame?
No, I'm not.
Because just like I somehow feel like we see in football that Man City, maybe they are suffering with fatigue. This JKL team has been together like for about 3 seasons, and they have been competing until the last game of the season. That's going to the finals.
I don't think there is fatigue per se. To start with, we don't play a lot of games. Okay, the season ends when you played under 30 games, almost. Of course, you're going to sweep the first 2 rounds. Those are 4 games, and then plus the probably 5 also that you're going to win in the playoffs. I don't think 30 games should be very, very tiring for players, and some of the games that are going to be really blowers, they are not going to expend a lot of energy. I want to believe that the group that they have, I think it is still good enough, extremely competitive. What only changes is that these ladies get into work commitments. What only becomes that is that they now have to balance work with playing the game, and that is where the challenge comes in. I mean, for example, the reason why Brenda wasn't around is I think she's because now working up country, I think. Yaliko, but really up country, I think inside the Wambale or somewhere. Simanyi bulungi. But it becomes harder.
Flash is sometimes outside of the country.
Since long ago. But when you have work commitments like that, of course you're going to appear like you're a step off, because obviously you're not going to train consistently. Okay, sometimes you're just going to show up on game day, depending on how your work week has been like. And you're going to do things like that. But obviously towards the business side of the season, there is always more seriousness to it, okay? And I don't think it is some sort of burnout or something like that. No, they will, actually, they must have started training, like, I think last month, JK, the ladies. So even in terms of fitness, they're still off, way off. I was a bit surprised that they actually competed.
You expected them to lose the first game?
Yes, I expected them to lose.
But not in such a manner.
Not in such a manner. Actually, at a point where the lead was established to what, 10, when JT led by about 10, I thought this is
now
it.
This is good.
But obviously they had the heart of the champion. I mean, Evelyn took over. And she made very, very, very good plays. Becky Longomo is finding her feet in the paint. You always know what you're going to get from Axie. I mean, for an opener, that was a good account for a team that has not been that has not trained for a long period of time.
We start with the non-Blazers. For starters, the big 3 are now at the Blazers. That's James Okelo, Jimmy Enabo, and Tony Buleba. By the way, that matchup, because the Friday game, you can really summarize that it was a matchup between Jimmy Enabo and Benny Pomakage, those two facing each other, and they decided the end result of the game, literally. But you've watched the game earlier before I did.
Yes.
because I don't remember seeing Koma and Ben facing off.
Koma and Ben, Koma and Jimmy.
Sorry, Koma and Jimmy facing off.
Yes, they had not faced off at all. They were at power, and then, okay, a season, Koma stayed this side for a season or two before coming to, but here is what I want to say about that game starting with Namblazers, first of all. As a person who had watched Namblazers train some sessions of theirs and also watched them play some pre-season games, they were nowhere near to what on Friday to what they have been doing in practice and what they did in the practice games that they had. I mean the friendly games that they had.
Maybe by the
not exactly. When you're drawing, especially, I want to start with the defensive schemes. When you're drawing defensive schemes, I think it is always the same. It's always the same. What they have always preferred, or what I've seen throughout their practice sessions and the friendly games, is that they wanted to put pressure on the ball, on the guard. When you look at how much time Benjamin had on the ball, now Gompira from one end to the other without any sort of pressure on the ball. I don't think, and this is not downplaying his abilities, but Benjamin Kaumi should not be dominating the guard position like that when you have Jimmy, Tony, Lukoji, their side. Okay, I don't think Benjamin is at a level where you can put him in the same breath as those three. Particularly,
he's not reached there.
He's not. But the kind of control that he had over that game leaves a lot of questions, really, than answers. Why they did not put the pressure on the ball, I don't understand. I don't know why. That is the discussion that they will have, players and the coaching staff that they will have. I thought he had a lot of time on the ball. And then two, I think there was a lot of pressure from the three guys, as you said. You would see Okelo was trying so hard.
And from that interview by Tony Drileba saying that now it's the onus is on us to end his legacy.
Yes. Now, I mean, you could see.
They came with a point to prove.
Yes, you could see they were not playing naturally. Okay. As they have been playing, as we know them to have been playing, as at least as I've seen them at practice, they were not playing naturally. There was some sort of pressure, like by nature Kakasa have something to prove, and they played right into the hands of State Oilers, who came, obviously, you almost know the team talk that was State Oilers, you know the team talk that was at this side.
Yes, it was easy to guess.
It was easy to guess.
And by the way, for State Oilers, history has it that they normally lose the opening. They just mastered to win the last game of the season.
Yeah, but again, Koma is timeless.
Yes.
Then Koma Kechi is timeless.
Yes, but still on Blazers. By the way, on that very game, because it was decided by just few margins, actual on the last play of the game. Yes, because it was tied 80-80, and then Blazers were inbound.
Fouled.
Yes, and it was Moses Mugisha who was deemed to have been fouled. And the interview that we had with Koma Kechi, he said that you don't call that a foul.
Yeah.
Have you tried to watch a replay of that?
Yes, I've watched.
Was it a foul?
I recorded it on the phone, that play. Of course, I've also seen the footage. Yes, and I watched the footage from the camera up. Obviously, when you look the baseline, yes.
Was it Malwaldia?
Yeah, Malwaldia and
I don't.
What's the other player? But
was it Edgar Mnaba and
Yes, Edgar Mnaba. Yes. When you squeeze the baseline like that, you want to be doubling on the lane to force him outside towards the baseline. But instead, they gave him the middle lane, and he forced his way between the two defenders. Obviously, going up, you're always going to contest.
Though the Twins insisted that their hands were straight.
Yeah, obviously, but you don't call a foul like that if you don't call it your fact.
It's okay.
If you don't call it your them, if you call it your still them. So the referees had no opinion. I feel it was a foul. I thought the contest was illegal, but because of the pressure of the game. Again, you don't call, do you call it, do you not? I think you call it, depending on how you see it. But again, the rule interpretation is with the referees. Okay, obviously they are not perfect. They are human beings, but it didn't have even to get to that point. I doubt NBL has led for more than 5 minutes.
Because after that 6-0 run to open up the game, I think they only led until in the fourth quarter when they took that lead, which again extended hands. But then a nightmare debut for Joel Koji. How is he going to fit into that team, especially with that backcourt stacked?
One, Joel is the starting point guard of that team.
He's supposed to be the starting point guard. That's what
he is the starting point guard. I'll tell you that, and I know it for sure. He should be, he is, and what happens is, again, I always want to refer to what they do at practice or what they're doing at practice. You see, when you're playing each other and you have Tony this side, you have Joe the other side, and what they have done during then something wild went off. But obviously you want to refer to Joel as a nightmare debut. I don't want to look at it as such. I want to look at it as a game where everybody failed to execute. None of the guys apart from Jimmy, who was taking an individual initiative. You know, you're going to have games like this where a player has to step up. And on that night, it was Jimmy who took matters into his own hands, and obviously Ben on their side. But I don't want to look at it as a nightmare debut for him. I think across the board, everybody failed. There was nothing like team play.
Yes, I've talked with a couple of NBL fans. Nenga bagamba escorting and Aji Sobola. Me, I feel he will, but you feel that there is need for another assistant coach.
Don't they have an assistant coach?
Yes, they have Eric Malinga. Yes. But Bagendo's over Bambalos and Eric is his person.
Actually not.
Head coach yetagayo assistant so yes, Eric Naso Bela Itago, and I heard the rumor that they approached Jonathan Egal. But is he still attached with UCU? Because last season it was like I saw him helping out.
I don't think Egal is going to leave UCU. He's supposed to be the next head coach of that team, of UCU actually.
What do you mean?
Mulugambo.
Hey.
He's Nick trusts him. No, Kigu is in charge of the women.
The men's team.
But I'm talking about the overall head coach.
For both.
If Nick leaves UCU, don't go you know where now.
And I was saying with that.
I don't know. Anyway, so but
let's talk about City Oilers. That was I don't think that any City Oilers fan should be worried about that
performance.
The result. No, the performance was okay.
Yes.
But the team was depleted.
Yep.
Of course, they didn't make so many signings. Yep. After they lost a couple of players, but on the night they didn't have Faid Bale and Titus Lual, and of course the captain Ivan Moise. But what we had on that night is that Ivan Moise was not injured, but he has walked out of the team and is heading to Rwanda.
Okay, let me put it
first
this way.
Confirm the rumor. Confirm the rumor, sir. Koleda abantu.
Rumor sijimanyiko. Because I saw Ivan train with the team.
When?
That days leading to that. Actually, even when they were playing Livingston in a friendly, he was there. Okay, he did not play, but he was there.
And why didn't he?
No, Bonate Bazanya, like Ivan, obviously Fayeda and Titus were not there. Coma didn't play that game, but obviously he was here. About that training, just that is new information.
New Franklin. No,
but okay. No, to be honest, I'm not aware of that. And the conversations I've had do not point to that.
Okay.
Yes.
But
abanyarwanda bagenda
but even now we can yali mu saigwe. But anyway, your general view on this City Oilers roster and how far do you think they can go if all other factors remain constant?
If all other factors remain constant, I think City Oilers is a good team. Okay. Let me put it this way. What needs to happen is that how quick Isaac Arujumba, Bolton. Bolton
Isaac of rugby.
The quicker Bolton Arujumba gets into the team, not to get the structure of play and all that. Obviously, he needs to improve his finishing around the basket. It is lacking a lot. He's always going to get in sweet spots, but finishing around the basket is lacking.
But still on that, isn't it? Okuteka akazisto ku Bolton. See a time on omwana gwe bajja mu UCU and I stepping up.
No, obviously he is. And he played well in that game. Well, he stepped well. I think he guarded Okelo so well. Yeah, okay, Downer, Rogers Downer. I think he guarded Okelo so well. He played very well. Everybody played very well in that Oilers group. Going by the pre-game assumptions that most of the fans and we all had.
And actually they did out-rebound.
Yes, they completely out-rebounded Namonga on the grass. And obviously that will come down to the minutes that
Makiad had for
Makiad, no, but I think the kind of game that what's that guy who came from UPDF? Nam Blazers. What's the name? Anyway, but the most important thing is that you want to build that this Oilers group can get better, of course, with time. Obviously, when Titus returns, he's not going to return the same person. When you're coming out of injury, of course, you cannot come out flying like that. But you're hoping that by the time the players come around, he's Arthur Wanyoto, yes. Arthur Wanyoto did not have a particularly good game, and he played most of the minutes as the power forward / center with Okelo. And that did not obviously go down well, I think, with the coach. As a coach, you cannot be impressed with that, especially when you've been given a lot of minutes. I think the coach deliberately chose to sit Makiadi and see what Wanyoto can bring up in a game of higher stakes, but he did not give a good account of himself. We'll see what will happen going forward. But this Oilers group, if one Rujumba steps up, obviously Rogers Down now has to be the go-to man in that front court. We don't expect a lot of strong play from Joseph Chuma, defensive effort. He's not that good a defender, and it was not surprised that he fouled out. Okay, in that game, it's not that good, but you need these two to be at the top of their game before Titus returns. To be at a level where they can now have some very good.
I saw a video, I think, on Vic Interlay status when Titus was doing his personal workouts, and I think it won't be that long until he returns. But we hope that maybe Faid Bale will be playing in their subsequent games. But frankly, now Tetu Sukao, we thank you for those who have watched this video until the end. This is the Inbound Show, and I've been with Franklin Kawelu of Kawo Sports, and my name is Brian Kawalia
of the Sports Nation.
Zino video tugenda ba tuzikuwanga is the Inbound.
Quite
Twagala
regularly.
kubanga tuzikuwa buli Monday nga tu reflecting ku weekend nga bwe badde. Have a wonderful week.